Hey guys, today's video I'm going to be doing questions nobody asked. I wasn't even sure if I was going to be filming this week, if I'm going to be brutally honest. I actually hurt my back a few days ago and I had a pinched nerve and I was in a lot of pain and I wasn't even sure if I'd be able to film because I could barely do anything. I was literally just lying down for the last few days. But I went to work yesterday because I finally felt slightly better and I was waiting for my bus. And I kind of was like, oh, how do I feel? And I wasn't in pain anymore. So I was like, don't know what I did at work to fix my back problems, even though that job causes me a lot of back problems. But it went away, so. I did a get to know me video 3 or 4 months ago on my channel where I answered a bunch of questions. And I wanted to do a part 2 to that because I talked about how in that video I wanted to film in multiple locations. This video is actually inspired by Christine Snaps. She does this in her Q&A videos where she will film in different locations around her house while she answers questions, and I thought this would be really fun to do. What do I think about before I go to sleep? Probably YouTube. I like to think about things that make me happy and bring me comfort, so probably making videos. I like thinking about videos I'm going to film or YouTube ideas. That can sometimes be good because it does help me fall asleep, but then sometimes it can be bad because I get too excited and then I can't sleep because I'm too excited because I'm excited about the videos I want to film. Last time I cried. Really sad question. I probably cried about 2 days ago. This is really sad. I'm not somebody who cries a lot, but the reason I cried 2 days ago was because I was in a lot of pain because of my back and I basically can't, like, sneezing hurt, coughing hurt, and the thing is I recently just got over a chest infection and I'm still having a little bit of phlegm that's coming up, so I'm still coughing a bit and it was awful. It's awful. I'm also someone who has allergies, so I sneeze a lot and it was just really bad. I couldn't put my socks on. I could not put my socks on like Thursday morning and my dad had to do it for me and I felt like a 5-year-old again because I couldn't put my socks on. Like, it hurt. Like, I couldn't bend my hip or my leg enough to put my sock on. Like, I couldn't bend over to reach my foot. I can do that now, but I couldn't bend over. Like, I was so stiff and so sore. Favorite quotes. I would probably have to say one of my favorite quotes is, "Despite everything, it's still you," by Undertale. I remember when I first heard that quote, I was like, oh, that's cute, because at the time I was like, oh, that's cute. But then it resurfaced for me like a few years ago and it just kind of hit very hard because I am someone who has been through a lot in my life, so that quote hits very different and it's probably one of my favorites. I think if it's a quote that, like, currently, it is a quote that I hold very close to my heart because I absolutely love the whole idea of it. It's like, despite everything that's happened, it's still you. Alright, worst movie that you've ever seen? Oh, that's a bit of a hard one. I think the one that I've seen kind of recently is probably one that I just did not like. I was kind of talked about this, but I recently watched the Jurassic World movies because I hadn't seen some of them, and I was watching the latest Jurassic World movie. I did not like it at all. I hated it. I think it's because you go from Dominion to that movie and it has a whole new cast, a whole new, like, storyline and all this stuff. And it's such a weird thing to go from, like, the original cast return and it kind of feels really cool to see them all back together, and then you have this movie. I just hated it. First of all, there was no cast. It was a new set of people, which is like, that's fine. But there were so many things I didn't like about it. Also, the main dinosaur protagonist, is that protagonist? Is that the right word? Main dinosaur in it, I hated. I had a dream that I saw a dinosaur that looked like the It's Wednesday, My Dudes frog. And I dreamt that that's what it looked like, and I was like, oh, yeah, the new dinosaur doesn't look like that. I just had a dream about it. Something you wished you learned sooner. I was actually thinking about this a few weeks ago. Probably driving. I've been doing a few driving lessons in the last few weeks, and I feel like I wish I'd done it. Like, I know why I didn't. If you don't know, me and my dad were in a car crash when I was like 17, and I couldn't sit in the front of a car without having panic attacks or getting very upset. So it took me a really long time to be able to sit in the front of a car without feeling scared. And now I'm driving and I love it, but I really wish I'd learned sooner, because it feels like it probably is really hard to learn to drive when you're a teenager, but as an adult with a job, it feels harder. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I really wish I wish I already knew everything and I was just already at the point of being on the road kind of thing. Like, I hate that I can't do that, and it sucks because doing the lessons is great, but it's hard because there's so many other things I have to do at the same time, and I really wish I just learned to drive sooner. Closest celebrity look-alike. I would probably have to say the only one that pops to mind, and this is the one I get told I look like, but to be fair, this person doesn't look like they did when they were younger than they do now, and I look different than I did when I was younger. Like, I think I look more like this person when I was younger than I do now, because I can see myself a lot more with them when I'm younger than I do now. I don't really have them as much now, but I would probably say Bella Ramsey. I would get told that a few times, but I think I look more like them when I was younger than I do now, because I think now my hair's too different, my face has changed, and also they have short hair now. I do not. But yeah, I used to get told I look like Bella Ramsey quite a lot, so I feel like that's the one that always pops to mind. I don't think I really got told anyone else. Yeah, I think that's about it. Longest you've ever walked. I actually have a story for this. Again, tell a lot of stories in this spot. So this happened in high school, and this is probably one of the stupidest things I've ever done. Do not do this. I was after school, I was hanging out with my ex-boyfriend. The thing about my shopping centre was that there was an interchange. So I would usually just get the bus home because my school was near my shopping centre, so I walked from school to the shopping centre, then I get the bus home. Because walking from the shopping centre, I'm actually going to look this up because I need to just double check. Because I think it's a 40-minute walk. From my house to the shopping centre, it is 44 minutes to the shopping centre. I do like 45-minute walks in the morning and in the afternoon from time to time, and that's fine. This was a different thing. So I was hanging with my boyfriend after school. Being a 16-year-old, I was very petty. You know, teenagers. No. Basically, my ex did something to annoy me. I couldn't tell you what. Gonna be honest, there was a few things he did to annoy me. Anyway, he did something that upset me. We got in a bit of not a fight, but he basically slipped up with something he said, and I got very annoyed with him because, you know when men say stuff? You know when, like, guys you're dating, like, they say something and it just pisses you off immediately because they've either exposed something or they've confessed to something they weren't supposed to. He did one of those things. I can't remember exactly what, but I got really annoyed with him, and I was like, I'm not getting the bus, because we had to take the same bus. And I was like, I'm not getting on the bus with you. I'm not happy with you. And I was like, I'm walking home. And I did. Please keep in mind, first of all, it's summer during this time. Not good. It was not good. Second, I had just finished school, so it's like, what, 7 hours? 3, I was wearing my school shoes. 4, I was carrying my school bag, which had a lot of my school books and my school laptop in it. This is why the 44-minute walk was a lot harder than it is when I go for ones now, because I'm not carrying much on me. So I was like, I'm really mad at you. I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna walk home. And he was like, okay, yeah, whatever. So I did. I walked home. And I remember at one point I was literally thinking, because I left him at the interchange. I remember walking, like, I might just stop and like wait, and then I'll like turn around, get a drink, and like take the bus home. Then, to make it worse, my ex is like, I'm still at the interchange, I'm waiting for you to come back. So I kept walking. Sent him a Snapchat, said, I'm walking home. And he goes, alright. And he got on the bus. And I was too far away from the interchange. I just was like, I'm just gonna walk home. It gets worse though. It gets worse. The thing is, I do live near the area of my shopping centre, so I kind of knew where I was. I was fine. I knew how to get home. That was fine. Here's the thing. Little stupid me decided that I wanted to do a CD group. Because I was like, oh, I know a few parks that interchange with each other, so I could walk through the parks instead and just walking around these roads, because I didn't feel really safe doing that. Because we kept getting told during school about like stranger danger, and like I heard so many stories about girls walking home and cars pulling up and trying to talk to them. So I was like, I'm gonna walk in the park. Here's the thing, just because it's a scenic route doesn't mean it's a shortcut. So it's possible that it took me about an hour to get home from what could have been a lot shorter. So if I could give any advice to your girls, don't do that. Just get on the bus and go home. Just get on the bus. Don't do it. I was so petty. And it was not worth it. It was the longest walk of my life. But also, I was also angry with my ex-boyfriend at the time. Like, I was really angry with him. Like, he'd really pissed me. I think I was upset. Like, I was actually crying because I was upset with him. An irrational fear I had as a child. There is one fear that always comes to mind, and it's actually one that I think about and I kind of find a bit funny. But when I was a kid, I believed that actors were robots, and that I had this fear that they would malfunction and burst into flames. We would have this like performing group come to my school, and they would do like plays on like Disney and like fairy tale stories, and I would always get so anxious when they would perform because I was so scared that they would catch. I would get so scared that they would catch on fire. I remember watching Beauty and the Beast, and there's a scene where like he transforms out of the beast. I remember all the smoke happened and everyone's like, ooh, smoke, and I'm like, he's dying. I was like, this man's actually like on fire, and everyone's like, ooh, and he came out and he was fine. But I was like, he might malfunction. Like, I remember one time one of them had water thrown on them, and I was like, oh no, he's gonna like short circuit. Comfort TV show, I would probably say at the moment, I'm currently watching The Mentalist. I started watching that because there was actually a show I remember seeing like bits and pieces of, but I could never really find it anywhere. I like watching crime dramas as a comfort show. That's my problem. I don't know, they just kind of make me forget things and make my problems feel small. You know how people like to watch serial killer documentaries? It's kind of probably in the same kind of rat, but I prefer ones that aren't real, because that feels weird to find comfort in someone else's pain. Like, if your life were a book, what would this current chapter be called? Bit of a deep question. I would probably have to say this current chapter. Coming home, I guess, if that makes sense. I guess coming home. I don't know when this chapter ends, but hopefully it keeps going for a little while because I like it. Family story that always stays with you. I would probably have to say a family story that always stays with me is probably my granny would always tell me stories from when she was younger, and there's always this one story she would always tell, and I loved it. I loved hearing about it because it was just always so interesting to hear. One of the stories that my granny would always tell me was that her and my grandma, which is Grandpa Macintosh, it was after World War II, and I don't know if it was their honeymoon or if it was after they got married or if it was just a trip to France, but they went to France and it was after World War II. Basically my grandma went to go get a newspaper, and the guy selling the newspapers gave him a German one because he had blue eyes, blonde hair, and my grandma had to awkwardly ask for an English newspaper. But my granny would always tell it because it was very interesting that just because of his features they assumed he was German, and it was just a thought that they had at the time because it was obviously after World War II, which is interesting because they were Scottish. And I just find that kind of interesting as well because my last name is German, and the thing is I've had this discussion with my dad, but my dad's side of the family came from Germany like almost 100 or so years ago, and we're probably like the 4th, 5th generation since they came down. So the only thing German left is probably the last name. And the thing is, my grandma, like my dad's mum, her father was born in Britain, like in England. So my mum was born in Scotland, and my mum's side of the family is Scottish. So I would have to say I probably have more of a connection with like British heritage than I do with the Germans, because my dad's side of the family's lived here for so long, and the only thing German left is our last name. Best piece of advice you've ever been given? Ooh. I'd probably say what my dad said to me. When I was doing my study once, I got very anxious and very scared because I was worried I was going to fail it. I almost did. And my dad said, one day at a time. And I think that's just one thing that I literally live on, is one day at a time. Because I think I was someone who I hate thinking about things in the long term now. And if I just do it day by day, it makes everything a lot easier and less scarier. Because I think I used to be someone who was like, how's this week gonna end? How's this next 2 weeks gonna end? How's my future gonna look? So one day at a time is probably the best thing my dad said, because it made everything a lot less stressful and easier, because I don't have to think about like what's gonna happen in a week, because things might change in a week, and you know, things change in 24 hours. So bad habit you wish to stop. I don't know. I feel like when I wrote this down, I think I did have an answer, but I actually can't remember what that answer is now. Ooh, one of my bad habits. I don't know if this is technically a bad habit, but one of the things I really suck at is I will have a list of things I want to do throughout the day, but I am someone who thinks I don't have enough time in the day to get it done. And I feel very stressed because I want to get it done, and there isn't like enough time to do it, and it's just this whole stressful thing. I would probably have to say I really wish I would stop doing that, because I've had it where I have stuff planned for the day, and then once they're over, I have so many hours left. Like I remember one time I literally had a driving lesson in the morning, and then I had like 2 other things I wanted to do, and I finished those by like midday, and I didn't have anything else to do for the rest of the day, so I was like, oh. And I was so stressed the night before about if I'd be able to get everything done. And I'll write down a list of like 5 things, and I'll feel like it's 500 things. So I really wish I wouldn't do that, I guess, in that kind of sense. Like I really wish that I wouldn't feel like everything is going to take 500 years to do, and it's not going to be as long as I think it is. Like, I don't know. Black or green olives? My answer will always be green. I'm sorry. I love green olives, but actually I love both. I love black olives and I love green olives, but I like green olives more for the texture, because green are more crunchier, and I like that. I like biting into an olive and it being kind of crunchy. That's what I like about pickles as well. I like that they're kind of crunchy. I feel like if you like pickles, you'll like olives, but I don't know. I feel that's a thing. But I love green olives. I do like black olives, but green olives, they hit different. My current favourite song, I actually found out my current favourite song last night, luckily. Current favourite song that I have is End of You by Poppy, Amy Lee and Courtney LaPlante? I don't know if it's just LaPlante. But I heard a snippet of it the other day and I love, like, I used to have a big old emo face back in the day, and one of my first emo bands was actually Evanescence. So hearing Amy Lee's voice was really nice because I haven't heard her voice in anything new in a while, so it was kind of nice to hear it again. What food do you hate the most? Good question. I would probably have to say fish, and I will always stand by that. I'm pretty sure what happened was I used to love fish when I was younger, but I'm pretty sure what happened was I must have had like food poisoning at some point from fish, and my body remembers and I don't, because every time I eat fish, if I smell fish, taste fish, smell seaweed, taste seaweed, I get really bad nausea, like I've thrown fish back up because I get so uncomfortable and so nauseous that I will throw up. And apparently that can happen if you've had previous food poisoning. Your body remembers, but I don't, so it must have happened and I might have not realised it was food poisoning from fish. I can't have coriander. I actually have the gene that makes it taste like soap. I'm not joking. My siblings don't have it. I'm the only one that has it. None of my family members, as far as I know, have it. I don't like it. It is such an interesting thing because when I smell parsley smells so fresh and nice, but then when I smell coriander, it smells like soap. And the thing is, I didn't realise for a long time it was from that, because what would happen is that I would always eat food that my dad had made, and I made the assumption that my dad was washing the fruits and vegetables in like dishwater or dish soap, and it wasn't fully coming off, and I was just assuming that was what was happening. And then my dad was like, I rinsed them with water and that was it, I don't wash them with soap. And I was like, why does it taste like, I was like, you didn't use soap in this? And he's like, no. And I was like, why does it taste like soap? And then I looked up my food tastes like soap, and it came up with the coriander thing, and I ended up asking to smell the coriander and immediately realised that's what it was. Coriander tastes like soap. It tastes like dish soap, like the very like liquid soap. It doesn't taste like bar of soap. It tastes very like chemically and stuff like that to me. What was the last book you read? Does that mean finished or last book I read? Because currently it would be the book that I was reading in my reading vlog, which would be The Rise and Fall of Dinosaurs. I haven't finished that book yet. I'm kind of struggling too. I would probably have to say Agatha Christie's The ABC Murders, like Poirot's ABC Murders. That's the last book I finished. I don't know what book I read before that. I would have to say those two books are the last ones. And then currently reading, I can't say because I'm doing a video on. What projects are you currently working on? I only have two that I'm really working on. One of them's not really YouTube related. I'm currently, well, it's on hiatus at the moment because of my back. I started following a Chloe Ting workout. I kind of talked about this, but I started following a Chloe Ting workout like a month or so ago. I've also started doing a new one of hers a few weeks ago, I think about a week or two ago. I'm actually on day 4 technically on it, but since I've done my back, I have to wait until everything's better because unfortunately the next workout lined up is a lower body one and I pulled my lower back, so I can't do that until I feel better. YouTube related ones, I would probably have to say I'm currently doing a reading vlog at the moment. I don't exactly want to say what it is in case I ruin it, but I kind of have talked, I feel like I have talked about it. Maybe I cut that out. I don't know if I cut it out or if it's still in the video. I basically got a new set of books I did a video where I watched a certain movie. And I got the books. I've never read the books. I'm reading one of them. I'm doing a little reading vlog on that book. Because I've never read the books and I want to give my opinion and my... Not that my opinion is very important, but I wanted to read it for the first time and just see what it was like in comparison to the movie, because I've always loved the movies. So I wanted to read the book. Alright, so that is all the questions I'm going to be answering. I hope you guys liked this video. It was really fun to film this video, and I had a lot of fun answering these questions. But hopefully you guys liked it, and if you did, give me a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time I film another one. Bye!